time that I've them man can't say anything that I ain't already told man about my life. Made a couple shit songs, yeah, that's nice. Repeated my bars, oh yeah, that's nice. Cause when your bars are hard like mine, fam, sometimes man I gotta say them twice.
y recorrer el mundo en su velero y navegar, navegar. Y se marchó y a su barco le llamó.
Hey, who was you, pimp? Hey, what the fuck?
What the
Get your
fuck?
motherfucking. Hey, this nigga squeezing me.
Hey,
Get this
player.
freak
Hey,
ass
player.
nigga up
You
out
ain't
me,
hear my
bro.
nigga say
What
back the fuck up, dude?
De ritmo, vamos a espejear. Y ahora todos, espejeando. 1, 2, 3. Izquierda, derecha, arriba y enfrente, izquierda, derecha, arriba y enfrente, izquierda, derecha.
Kind of smell
What the?
like a baka.
Hey, when I'm with money, and then when I'm bad, you know what I'm about me. And you mean you when I'm naughty, and you mean up, and you mean up.
Try getting up.
Oh wait, are they vlogging at me? Should I? Oh, I didn't even. I haven't even paid attention because I don't even have my glasses on. Because I don't like I can't see. So bye, you little bitch. Not even notice that because I don't have my glasses on and obviously like I'm drunk. They were like, were they being like creepy? Thank you for letting me know if they were, because I genuinely had no idea. So thank you. Thank you. Ew, thank you for letting me know, because I have no idea what they were saying, but I'm sure it was fucking creepy. Thank you so much. I'm gonna follow you, unless I already do. I'm gonna follow you, because ew, I only kind of know what that means, but ew. Thank you very, 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 very much for telling me that, for real. Because I was literally so oblivious. Like, you saw me, I was just like, ah. So thank you. For real.
How politicized it is, that it's being used for political gain to get people, for politicians to get people on their sides. They're targeting a small, no, let me finish.
Hold on,
They're targeting a small group of us to show how much they can do. Do you like, first of all, the fact that I was just saying in Florida that I would have to go into a women's restroom, and then if you reported me for being in that restroom, I would go under investigation. So essentially, Florida just eliminated all public bathrooms for trans people. So tell me who is being oppressed, and what do you think happens next? What if a cisgender woman has masculine features and goes into the women's restroom? She can be reported. How do you not think this is going to affect all of you? That is the goal.
You listen. A transgendered woman should never be allowed in a woman's restroom.
Yep.
Should I?
I'm a father of 2
Should
daughters.
I answer the question? Should I?
Listen, you look like a man, so if you were in the urinal next to me, I wouldn't know the difference.
Okay, well, everybody wants in Florida. I would have to use the women's restroom, and I would then be criminalized for it.
Jersey, can I ask a serious question? Can you stand in the urinal next to him?
That's none of your business.
Right.
Actually, it's a pure.
No, they can't.
It's a logical question, though.
You think I can't? It's just none of your business. Oh, it's okay. Hey, man. Hey, bald dude. Do you ever sit to piss?
No, unless I'm sick or something.
Unless you're sick. How about everybody else? How do you guys pee?
They're women,
well,
so
I was born to have to sit on the toilet to pee.
So,
does this feel a little invasive?
Jersey,
No,
not to publicly ask people how they piss.
No, it's not
because I
invasive
was
at all.
born to sit on the toilet to pee.
You were born to sit on the toilet? Dude, toilets are created by people. Toilets are man-made. You were born to sit on a toilet, and you definitely weren't born to attack trans people. Like, really, what's happening here? What?
I did want to say something because Queen had asked a question that was cis a medical term. So I actually Googled that to see what was going to come up. And it's interesting. I had looked up what cis woman or cis man what that meant, but I never Googled is cis a medical term. And cis is actually an acronym for clinically isolated syndrome, which is possible diagnosis for patients who experience an episode that may represent the onset of multiple sclerosis. So I can assure you that as a woman, as a female, I don't care which you want to classify, I'm both. I am not a cis anything.
Hold on, Shannon. We got people in the chat saying that you're wrong. We got people in the chat saying that, no,
can I tell you how to we could actually eliminate the word cis? Is if when you said men and women, you included trans people. The only way to eliminate the word cis.
You're not men and women, and that blurs the line of a very clear line.
Okay.
Oh, they said that's not what cis mean. Put in the chat what cis means so I can read it out. Put in the chat. Now, Jersey, how do you feel about women saying they do not want to be called cis women and trans women continuing to disrespect them and call them cis women? How do you feel?
Well, I mean, it's not disrespectful. It's just an adjective. It's just an adjective to explain that somebody's not
Jersey,
trans.
Hold on. You can't say what someone can find disrespectful.
I can't say what somebody feels. Right.
Jersey,
so if it makes you feel bad.
In the fact that it didn't start becoming a thing until you guys all decided that it was time for you to start like putting yourself out more and trying to be more out there in society. It's actually nobody's been called cis, not even by doctors.
Again, it's actually complete fiction that transness is like some new thing that we're pushing. Like I said, I started transitioning 13 years ago, and I have plenty of friends from the 70s and after. What's happening is transness is being politicized, and it's getting people like you on politicians' side because you think you're being attacked by words like cis, but really it doesn't do anything. The word cis doesn't do anything. It gives us a way to talk about cis people and trans people. You are the one who is saying, I'm a woman, I'm not a man. Okay. That's a lot more offensive than getting cis thrown in front of a woman. And if you're going to continue doing that, if you're not going to allow and accept the idea that I'm just as much of a dude as that bald guy in there, then like,
I'm sorry, but you are not because your muscle and bone makeup make you not be a man.
Okay. So again, you are your worst enemy right now because the only reason he has to be called cis is because I have to be called trans. Otherwise, there's no way to differentiate between us. Okay. So like you want to stop saying I'm a woman and just call me a guy,
You're not a guy.
then I will just call that dude a guy.
Not a guy.
You're not a guy.
Jersey.
So I thought that like misogyny, transphobia wasn't allowed in this chat.
In the chat, I can't.
Or by the people attending, because I keep getting called a woman, and that's really disrespectful and discriminatory.
I didn't call you a woman. I just said you're not a man.
Well, you're calling me a cis woman, and that's discriminatory as well. I find it offensive.
Tell me how.
Let me go ahead. Wait.
Can you tell me how?
One mic. Let me go ahead and because we have two different ends of the spectrum here. We have Jersey, which is a trans man, saying that he feels as though that you or anybody calling him a woman is disrespectful. And then we have, Aubrey here that's telling you that you calling me a cis woman is disrespectful. So now we have two different views. It's not transphobia or misogyny. It's just two people that do not look at the same point.
I mean, calling me a woman is transphobia. Calling me a woman
he said he didn't call you
woman.
He said he never called you a woman, and she said she didn't call you a woman.
Shannon, you think I'm a man?
What?
Do you think I'm a man, Shannon?
Do I think you're a man?
Yeah, am I a man?
I mean, I think you identify as a man. You're not a male.
Do you think I'm a woman?
Biologically, you're a woman.
Okay,
No,
so that's just as offensive as
excuse
calling me a woman.
No, if I go off of how you guys have split hairs, biologically you're a female.
How we have split hairs?
Yeah.
How we have split hairs?
Yeah, because you guys want to make a big old difference between gender and sex. Like there's a
gender and sex. Well, I see. You're one of those people that don't believe in gender identity. You don't believe in gender identity. Well, the thing about gender identity is nobody else can explain it for you. It's something you have internally. And just because like you're not aware of yours or whatever doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like your gender identity, you are a woman who is a woman. You feel like a woman. Nobody else can take that away from you, right?
So I have something
That's
to
what
say
gender
that's
identity
completely
is.
off topic, and I'm not talking to you, Jersey. So this is just in general. I find it ironic, actually, that women, biological females, cannot have a hysterectomy and they cannot do all sorts of other things with their bodies because we don't have children if we don't want children. But we are pushing gender changing and hormones onto young children who can't even smoke or drink alcohol. So what is that? That is the worst thing you can do as a human because it literally affects their complete makeup.
So actually, it depends on the state you're in and your insurance provider. If you're a woman and you want a hysterectomy, it is actually more. I work in healthcare.
You have to at least have 3 children or be above the age of 30.
So again, it depends the state you live in. And hysterectomies, a lot of insurers and most states would not cover a hysterectomy for me. So I don't know where you're getting this information, but trans healthcare is actually very difficult to access. Getting a hysterectomy is not an easy thing for a trans person to receive. And I've never met a kid who received a hysterectomy. So
I stated earlier, because I was on one of Queen's lives earlier, and I stated earlier that, I mean, I don't care. Do what you want to do, but leave my gender alone. Leave me a woman. You are going to be a trans man and a trans woman because you transitioned into that. And you
didn't. So you are not. So you are cisgender.
Because you chose to go from a woman to a man. You chose to make that transition. That's what.
Did you choose to be a woman? Did you choose to be a woman?
Trans is short for transition, is it not?
Trans is short for transgender.
Okay, so transgender, right? But you transitioned from what? From a female to a man. Correct? That's what you went from. You went from.
Now, real quick, before you respond, Jersey, real quick, I want to go ahead and say, so now that we're still at odds here, people. Report the people, don't report me, right? So now what Shannon is saying she does not care what you choose to do with your life. It's your life, your body, do what you will. However, do not call me a cis woman. Don't call me that. Just call me a woman. And we have Jersey saying, the complete opposite. Well, like, you're a cis woman and, we don't choose this, things like that. So real quick, Jersey, I have a question people have been asking in the chat. So why can't the transgender community respect that, you know, let's say a trans man or a trans woman calls a biological male or a biological woman cis male, cis woman? Why can't they respect that we don't want to be called that and just leave it alone? Why is it an up for debate? Is what they're asking.
Well, I mean, why can't Shannon respect the idea that I'm a guy? Why can't the guy above me respect the idea?
Not a male.
See?
Okay.
Did you hear that? That's who should get reported. Did you hear that? That's who should get.
You're not a male. What did I say? I said male.
So you don't. So you don't believe in gender identity?
No.
Okay. So these are the people that are the exact problem. There's no way to reason with them and don't see what's actually happening here.
The problem is we rely on truth. The issue is, I don't
Are you
really
a biologist? Are you a biologist? Because in many cultures, and like, this will piss you off even more. Wait, this will piss you off even more. In Judaism, I'm Jewish. You probably hate me more now. There are over 6 sexes
Don't say that,
in the Talmud. Real? Because this is the kind of dude that would. Are you kidding me?
No, you're putting things in my mouth. But
how do you feel about Jewish people, man?
As a Catholic, we love them.
I told you.
I'm a Catholic. What do you want?
I told you.
We have no problems with Jews.
Oh, okay.
Except for.
I have a question.
Except for what? Except for what? Except for what?
33 AD, but that's a different story.
I told you. That's the kind of guy. This is like a supremacist type dude. You can't reason with someone like that.
The problem.
Do you want me to give you the definition of male, Jersey? Do you want the definition of male?
I can't hear you.
As a male. Hold on. As a male, the problem that I have with what you're coming at is not that you want to be a man. I could care less. It's the guys that are transitioning to be a women and going into the locker rooms, into the bathrooms, because I got 2 daughters that are in sports, and trying to say, "Oh, I'm a woman. I can compete." No.
Okay, and why aren't I a big deal?
Because to be honest with you, you're not a guy. There's nothing that you can do to influence.
Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not a guy, so I'm not a threat because women, particularly white women, are pure and not threats, right?
No,
so let me finish.
You're trying to encroach on women. There's sports, there's locker rooms.
I'm a trans man. First of all, figure out what you're saying. I'm a trans man.
No.
And you're saying
the problem is the trans community encroaching in on women. That's the problem.
But your reasoning for that is because I'm safe because I am a woman, correct? So I don't pose a harm to you. So the problem here is that you.
But trans men can't.
I am a trans man. I am a trans man.
Sure, I'm sorry, trans women. I don't know. It changes every trans women.
No, it never changes. It's actually always been the same. It's always been the same.
Trans women pose a threat to women in their locker room.
How so? Okay, but you know who actually and factually receives more bathroom discrimination, violence, and oppression than anybody else? Take a guess. Take a guess.
Maybe men, I guess.
No, it's transgender women.
So don't go in their bathroom.
And so they should go in your bathroom? What are you going to do when a trans woman walks in the bathroom next to you?
You walk in my bathroom, I don't care, because I'm blowing it up. You want to come into a guy's bathroom? It's disgusting.
Stupid.
It's disgusting.
Jersey, I have a question. Jersey, I have a question. Could you get on any kind of a sports field or court and go toe to toe with a man?
Could I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really think that? You are not.
Are you kidding me? I was a college athlete. I run 7-minute miles. Hold on. Stop. Hey, bald dude above me. Do you run?
Oh my God.
Are you a runner?
But I didn't say a track. I said a court or a field. I said a court or a field.
Hockey, and I'm well into my 40s
where it's
now.
not.
Okay, so he plays hockey. So I couldn't beat him at hockey. I'm not a hockey player. I'm a rugby player. I'm a soccer player.
Dude,
and I'm a runner.
By 110 pounds.
But what does that have to? Not every sport has to do with size. Are you kidding me? That's misogyny. Like thinking that you can't be as strong because you weigh 100 pounds less than someone.
You said you play what?
A male track star can beat you on the field, hands down.
I'm not trying to be a track star. I'm not trying to Olympically run track.
You just said
But
you were
the
a runner.
fact is, I do run faster than most cisgender men in my life because I run every day. So yes, it has to do. And actually, I told you all, I have worked in healthcare. I literally just finished a master's in kinesiology, which is the study of sports and medicine and movement. And what impacts more than
So
anything
you
else?
didn't learn
Let
that
me finish.
genetically
What
you're not
impacts?
made a man? You didn't learn
What
that?
impacts? What impacts sport more than anything else is how much you practice, not gender, not size.
But your muscle, as a woman, our muscle cannot build the way a man's muscle can.
Okay.
It is not genetically possible. Like,
but do you know that?
Our muscles are lined different. They elongate differently. They
Are you
bulk
in
up
science?
differently.
Are you in science? Because I am. I'm literally in the science. I'm professionally in science.
Are you like a jack of all trade, master of none? So you
No,
started off a
healthcare,
female, you didn't master
kinesiology,
that,
it's
so
all
you
the
went to
same.
male. So you're a scientist. You ran track. You're a rugby star.
Yeah,
You
thank
did
you.
all this stuff,
I
but
do.
you
I
don't
have
really
done a
know
lot.
jack about jack.
Yeah, I would just have a question. You say you're a man, or I just want to know, do y'all disclose that you were born a female?
To
like,
who?
To any sexual partners, like, because because it worries me that maybe, you know what I'm saying, that nobody wants to disclose what they were born as first.
Yeah, so I can tell you, and this is for my personal protection because I don't think I owe anybody an explanation. However, looking the way I do, I feel like for my protection, in case somebody is very transphobic, I always let people know, which is something to think about, that like people who aren't trans don't have to deal with, right? If I'm at a bar and want to leave with somebody, it's not as easy as it might be for somebody else. And the majority of people like I'm attracted to do not care, but I still or like support it, right? But it for me and for my safety, because many bad things happen to trans people in sexual encounters, I tell people.
Whitley.
Yes.
Hold on, baby. We on my live too. So real quick, what I wanted to go ahead and add in is that, we do not want to throw the name transphobic or misogynistic at each other. We want to go ahead and keep this live as peaceful as possible. We all know once we start calling each other's names, it could get bigger than what it is. So let's try to find different words to substitute what you're trying to say, all for the sake of the people on the live, yourself, just basically respecting everybody. You see what I'm saying? So before Whitley go ahead and continues, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Whitley. Put a 2 in the chat if you agree with Aubrey. Now, Nikki has came off her mic and said to Whitley that she does not want to be identified as something that she does not identify as, and she feels like you're erasing her. And Whitley, you said that you agree or you respect Nikki, but you don't respect Aubrey. And you said you don't respect Aubrey because you are a woman too. Now, if she finds that disrespectful and you don't, are you invalidating what she can and cannot find disrespectful?
No, I think she's entitled to find that disrespectful. I do think that it's a pretty I think the reasoning people have for feeling that way has a really intellectually dishonest foundation behind it. Enough people have explained it here. It's a prefix, it's a specification. I don't think that it's at the end of the day, anyone can feel however they want, but I don't think it's a smart way to feel. I don't think it's an intellectually honest way to feel. I also think that
how is it dishonest?
Yeah, but wait, I want to say that definition or those prefix are only used in trans spaces. Since the host is not trans, this is not considered a trans platform. So if I was debating on a platform hosted by a trans, of course I would use the term cis. But since I'm not on a platform owned by a trans person, then I'm not going to have to use that. But I'm going to use the word trans woman for me because that's what I am, and that's You know, when I chose to start my transition, I know everybody gets triggered over that because I did choose to start my transition. I got stuck with that prefix, and I'm proud of that prefix. And the fact that you guys want to like take that prefix away by calling us transsexual women, you're basically supporting trans erasure, and I just don't appreciate that. And there's a lot of people in my community that don't appreciate that either.
Ooh, go ahead, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Nikki. Put a 2 in the chat if you disagree. Nikki, you got my follow, baby. You got my follow. Okay. So this is a very, very good topic here. So Whitley, she does not agree with what Aubrey is saying because they are both biological women. And I'm gonna say that because at this point, it is what the fuck it is. Hell. So Aubrey, her saying what she said, she don't agree with you because you guys are both women. How do you feel? Do you feel like she's invalidating your feelings and it's contradicting in a way?
I feel like it is completely against what the feminist thing is about, is being there for women and supporting women, and she's just completely against her own community, honestly. That's what it feels like.
Whitley, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I don't agree with that. For me, I think that trans women are a part of my community. They are some of my dearest friends. And yeah, I feel like transphobia has no place in a feminist movement, right? For like a lot of reasons, for a host of reasons. I'm not someone who subscribes to sex-based gender identification, for a lot of reasons, for historical reasons and for other reasons. And I think that womanhood is a lot more than like what's in your pants.
But
So
that
if you
is
think that
sexual identification by calling
platform,
it womanhood.
Also just
if you think that this platform is very transphobic, then why are you here?
Oh, because it kept coming up
nobody in here is being transphobic. You're the one throwing these terms around.
Not now, but you guys literally had a man on here for a long time, so don't pretend you didn't, who literally kept admitting that he was transphobic and saying lots of transphobic things. There was another woman, another trans woman who was up. Her name was Catherine, and he went in the chat and started saying that she was a pedophile because she said she was pansexual. That is so like that was so wrong. And I'm sorry.
Okay, so Whitley, real quick, if you could read for me what it say on my quick disclosure, right? It say, if you do not like the person or what the person is saying, report the person, don't report me. So
I didn't report you. I did not know. I did not report you.
I'm not saying that you did, but I'm saying everybody and their mama heard what I said, and they went ahead and reported Will and illogical for everything that they're saying and things like that. But then you can't say that they were being transphobic, but in the same breath, you had trans women and trans men that were on here being misogynistic. We can't. You see what I'm saying? You can't be biased. You can't. You can't you can't do that. You have to be able to acknowledge one and acknowledge the other at the same time. Does that make sense?
I mean, I would if I heard that. I know that anyone can be misogynistic. I didn't hear. I mean, maybe it was just that like the wills and the illogicals were so loud, but I genuinely did not hear anyone else being misogynistic. And then one thing to Nikki's point about trans and cis again, like I just think that again, cis and trans, I think most people who use them genuinely and generally think of them as specifications. So that is not to say that like you're a trans woman and now you can only identify as a woman. I don't think anyone is trying to force it on you, just like I don't think anyone is trying to force cis women to only call themselves cis women. Like it's for communication purposes where you might need to specify, right? Like if I'm speaking to
we get all
people
that,
got
though.
mad when they were talking about like reproductive health, and people would say like people with uteruses, right? Like people got mad at that. And a way to say that is to say cis women and whatever, right? Like it's for communication purposes to specify. No one wants to stop women who are cis from calling themselves women all the time.
Okay. I personally don't think she's being totally honest. We know that word is used as a derogatory term towards women because we're asking you not to refer to us as sis. And I've heard your debacle, everything that you were saying. And in some cases, I will say yes, but for the most part, you're not being totally honest. You came in the chat throwing daggers, calling people names. So I'm trying to figure out if we are not equipped to have this conversation.
What the fuck?
Um,
Damn.
and you're not willing really to teach anything because you're so hostile. What's the point?
I think I've said pretty clearly what I think about this. I
How old
was
are you,
not
first of all,
insulting people.
sweetheart?
I'm
How old are you?
24.
Okay.
I'm 24.
Because
I'm
I
grown.
think you
I'm a
need to be
professor.
under some therapy.
I need to be
And
under therapy because
I
I'm not
encourage that a lot of
transphobic.
people
That's
before they get to a
crazy.
platform to get
I'm
some
just
kind of
saying, like,
psychological evaluation. No,
okay.
you
Do you hear
definitely
this? Do
sound
you hear this?
hostile and
The reason
aggressive.
I came in
Because
here
here's my
heated,
thing
and
right here.
I
When
think
you
I was
have a
rightful to be
person
heated
from your
because
own community that disagree, but you refuse to call them names or transphobic, but if a person that's not in the community says the
she's
exact
not a
same
professor. I'm a
thing,
grad
then
student. I'm a grad student.
okay.
I teach at university. Sorry, I was responding
The
to
chat's voting to kick her. You want me to know?
I actually don't care at this point. I'm just saying that, like, first of all, I did not, like, I think I have a right to be heated. I do. Like, I found a lot of what was happening in this for
You're
hours.
heated for what, though?
There were, like, violently bigoted people on this for, like, a long period of time. And rightfully, I should have just stayed
So then
gone.
why are you here?
It kept coming up on my feed.
Okay.
You know, it's
So
TikTok. I don't have
you
control
can
over
just go
that.
to Queen and hit block so you never see it again.
I'm going to go down now, but, like, the reason I wanted to share this was because I wanted people who felt similarly to me to know that, like, in this echo chamber of people who are, you know, generally feel the way that you guys feel, there are people who feel differently. That's all. So, I mean, I don't need to change your opinions about this. I did come in hot, and I came in hot because I felt like that
Let me
needed
tell
to
you this
happen.
right quick. Let me tell you this right quick. Your community have a lot of problems, and I understand
What's
that.
my community? Who's my community?
Who is your community?
You're asking me? You made a statement. You said my community has a lot of problems, so I'm assuming you know.
Your dog is
Well,
so cute.
Thank you. She's my baby.
Okay, who's your community? Are you not with the LBGT community?
I feel in community with a lot of people. I feel in community with women. I feel in community
There
with
you
queer
go
people.
again. There
I
you
feel
go
in
again.
community with Black people.
You're okay.
Social
So
justice
you're
warrior.
up here. Okay.
Social justice warrior.
Social justice warrior.
Okay.
No, I'm saying, okay, girl, listen. So, are you a biological woman?
I'm a cis. Yes.
Okay.
I was born a woman, and I feel like I love womanhood and I love women, and I'm a feminist.
All right, boom. Hold on. Now, before you continue, right? So, you already stated that you have no problem with anybody using the word cis because it doesn't offend you, blah, blah, blah. Now, are you, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going towards your sexuality now. Are you gay, straight, bisexual? Are you a part of the LGBTQ community by any chance? That's what the
I'm
crowd is
queer
trying to
and I
figure
have a
out.
boyfriend.
Can you explain to me what that means?
Queer, it means that I don't identify as straight, and I identify as not completely straight, and I have a boyfriend.
But I just asked her that though. Okay.
I'm just specifying because I know in these conversations people feel different kinds of ways about
You
how
are
sexuality is
assuming.
performed.
Nobody's attacked you here. Nobody's attacked you. You're assuming.
Okay, so Whitley, back to the topic at hand here. So we're talking about, you know, women, and now mind you, if you read the chat, you're saying that, you know, there's people that feel like you. I have not saw one person in that chat that felt like you. Maybe because I wasn't looking hard enough, But majority of the women here are saying that they don't want to be called cis women. Majority of them. It was one woman that came up and said that it doesn't define her, so she doesn't care. But majority of the women on here are saying, do not call me a cis woman. And you have some men that also came on here as well and said, do not call me a cis man. So they are telling you, do not call them such names. And you continue to call them that, but if the shoe was on the other foot, how would you feel? Like if somebody didn't call you queer, like you identify as queer, or she, her, or anything like that, if they didn't respect you and your boundaries and your pronouns or your sexuality or whatever it is, how would you feel?
So for example, if someone was like, you aren't queer, I would say, okay, because I know that I am, and that doesn't have any bearing on the life that I live or how I feel about myself. My thing is not to tell you guys how you need to identify or whatever. Like I said, when I first came up here, I'm less interested in that. I wanted to talk about how the question was misrepresenting like the general community. And let me actually rephrase, not the general community, but women in general, right? Because not every woman is a TERF, which just means trans exclusionary feminist, right? Or even if you're not a feminist, just like not every woman thinks that trans women need to be excluded. So, and like that's a lot of women. Like that might not be represented on this live, but like in reality, this would not even be.
Wait, you just what is? Hold on, can somebody back it up real quick? What is a TERF? I'm sorry.
So TERF stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. It's
That's
an acronym. Yeah, it's an acronym, and women. Some people.
There's so many terms these days. I swear.
People self-identify that way, right? So that's not like a identity label. It's like a movement label, right? Like people actively are like, I am trans exclusionary like and a feminist. So that's a thing,
like
which
I just find it so ridiculous in these conversations. People act like if somebody doesn't want to be called something, it means they're ignorant to what the word means.
Exactly.
People not wanting to be called cis doesn't mean they need a lecture on what cis means. They actually know what it means. And frankly, it's no different than some people in the trans community don't want to be called trans. They want to be called man or woman. So should we just, keep the same energy? Say, no, you're trans. Because that's what you are. Then it would be called
the word
transphobia.
didn't get into the dictionary until 2015, right?
Right. And could you repeat what you said earlier about you don't it was something you said earlier about you don't like gender specific terms or something like that? Whitley?
Oh, me? I did not say that.
I'm asking for clarification because I don't remember exactly
that I
what
don't
you
like
said.
gender specific terms. I don't feel that way, so I'm not sure what you would have been referring to. Like I said, I very much identify as a woman, and which was the gender I was assigned at birth. I think people should identify how they want.
There was something about sex identification that you said you disagree with. I could have heard.
Oh yeah, no, I don't believe in like sex. I don't believe that like gender needs to be like so concretely tied to gender. It's not like, or sorry, I don't believe that sexuality needs to be so, as in sex, sorry, not as in like sexual orientation, but like sex in the biological way needs to be so concretely tied to gender. It's not like a rare opinion. There's like a lot of work written on that, and I think that history supports that, right? That like in non-Western places, especially for a long time, we have considered there to be like we've considered gender to be
multiple genders. We get
more than two genders in a spectrum of gender identification. So I believe that like the space and time we live in now, obviously, we are more prepped and poised to think of gender as like there are these two things and that's all that you can be and that's all that and it's it's inherent to our sex. I don't subscribe to that. That's what I was saying.
Okay, but if we're going to be dead serious about this, if somebody pulls my DNA, it's going to say black male. Somebody pulls your DNA, it's going to say black female.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think
Ma'am,
sex
could I didn't
exists,
cut
right?
you off one
Sorry,
time?
okay. I mean, I was
So
agreeing with you, but
yeah, but the point of contention is people are saying, well, because I believe in multiple genders, then that's wrong. That's where a lot of these conversations go, where people are denying that fact. Now
can
you see
I
why people are
respond?
confused?
I mean, yeah, I understand why people are confused. I think there's a lot of purposeful misinformation too, right? To like make progressive people seem kind of insane and to make them seem like they are, sort of, blowing things out of proportion. But I think that like most people who are willing to have like a real interest in like gender and sexuality will say like, yeah, sex exists. Like biological sex exists, just like it exists in like most organisms. That is, kind of a scientific fact. But yeah, I think that that's different in our modern world than gender for like a lot of reasons. She's forcing
Okay, so
divorce.
real quick. So, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Maceo. Put a 2 in the chat if you agree with Whitley. Whitley, it seems like a lot of people are confused about your position here. Whitley say that she is a feminist, right? And you are pro all living beings. Is that what you said?
Oh, I mean, I didn't say I'm like pro. No, I didn't say that. I just said that I don't think that like, sex is inherently tied to gender.
So what is it tied to?
Well, sex is just like biology, right? It's like down to our, like people are saying down to your chromosomes, it's biology. But I like think about the things that we think about when we think about womanhood or manhood. They have very little to do with biology, right? Like a lot of women, like it's interesting when you think about
Hey,
like, so if you
may I
have, like,
say something, host?
Wait, can I finish?
Yeah, who's that, Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
So, Whitley, what's the definition of gender?
What do you mean, what's the definition of gender?
Exactly what I asked. What's the definition of gender?
I mean, it's a social identification.
No, well, it's rooted in biology. So, what's the definition of gender?
But it's not, right? Because we don't say that like
Yes, it
other
is. Okay,
animals
ready?
have
Here's
gender.
the definition of gender. Ready?
We don't say that.
The definition, listen. The definition of gender is of the female sex or the male sex, comma, especially with reference to social and cultural norms. So it's rooted in biology, but it has a social aspect to it. Yes,
So
but it's still rooted in biology.
I mean, like the reason
Because
there's
it's still
gender roles
rooted
is
in
because of our
biology.
gender roles are based on our biological differences. That's why men are expected to do more physical labor than women, typically because we're biologically typically stronger and things like that. Where women are, socially told to do other things because of our biology. It's not because, we're just going to decide that men do this and women do that for no apparent reason at all.
But that hasn't been consistent historically from place to place, right? That's a very like Western conception of what it means to be.
Hold on one second. We live in America, so yes, it is pretty consistent since we live over here in the Western world of America. I mean, I don't know why you have to move the goalposts and talk about other countries and other cultures. There's no point in that. I would call that moving the goalposts.
Everywhere. And personally, I'm a child of immigrants. Like, I don't think my world does not stop at America. So I'm not thinking about like I don't
but
think
do you
everything has
live
to
in
be a
America?
purely American context. I do.
Do you live in America?
I do.
There you go. So that's what we're talking about.
So where in the world are men not expected to do physical labor because of their biological inclination to do so?
I would say that Western hegemony has meant that like a lot of Western beliefs have like disseminated in most of the world, right? That's the product of colonialism. That's the product of like an American dominant international landscape. But like that's not true historically, right? That hasn't been true.
Okay, so I asked you to give me an example historically where men's biological traits didn't have a gender representation, where men were not expected to do things that they biologically were good at.
What do you mean by biologically are good at?
Oh my God. You disagree.
I'm just saying,
you
like,
disagree.
I'm Nigerian. my parents are Nigerian, and the story that I have
I don't
always heard of
understand the
my
point of
heritage.
asking me a question if you're going to start talking over me right after.
Okay.
So you disagreed with gender being tied to sex. So I'm asking you, and you said historically that's not true. So give us a time in history where men's biological traits were not used as a gender role.
Okay, so I'm West African. This is what I was gonna say. I'm West African. I'm Nigerian. And the story that I have always heard of my heritage is that pre-colonialism, there was, even though like there were things that were like roles that were, you know, largely patriarchal, like it was a patriarchal society. These were things that you wouldn't traditionally think of as being like purely like masculine, right? So like planning celebrations, like being the ones to sort of keep home spaces for the family and for children, like things like this, right? That are like now in a Western world, you would think about those things as sort of frivolous and womanly, but that wasn't the case, right? Because the things that you, like the ways in which they were meaningful to that space
I'm
and
asking you
time.
for a specific time and place, ma'am. You said
I gave you a
historically.
specific time. I said pre-colonial Nigeria.
So
That's what I said.
pre-colonial Nigeria, there was no gender roles anywhere.
That's not what you asked. You didn't say.
That's exactly what I asked you,
No,
ma'am.
you didn't say no gender roles. You said when gender roles
Did
were
anybody
not
hear me
tied.
say gender roles?
You
Did
said
anybody hear
you
me
said
say
a
that?
time when gender roles were not tied to some kind of
Did
biological
anybody hear me say that?
predisposition.
I clearly
That's literally
asked
what
that.
you said. That's literally what you said.
If you heard me ask about the gender roles, please put a 1 in the chat.
No, you said gender roles not tied to
That's what I'm
biological
asking.
predisposition.
Okay, never
You didn't say no gender roles. You did not say no gender roles. You said gender roles were
Ma'am,
not
if they had
tied.
gender roles, what were those gender roles based off of? If they had gender roles, what were they based off of?
They were based off of the culture. What do you mean?
How can you have gender roles based off culture?
Okay, but Whitley,
That's
okay.
what so much of our gender
hold
roles
on.
are based off of. So many gender roles are based off of culture.
And not
on,
sex
Whitley.
also?
I'm not saying they're never based. Like I said, in the Western world, they are largely based off of like the things that we assign to women because of. So like, I mean, like I said, I don't believe that sex is inherent to gender. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I truly believe.
Can we please let Shannon talk?
Because women are small, they need to be submissive to men, right? Like I don't believe that. So I'm not going to say that I believe that. But that is a gender role that exists.
Whitley. Okay. First, hey Aubrey, and then next, Nikki. Yo, I just want to tell you, like, can I just tell you how much I love that you literally do exactly what I say. If we all just do us and respect one another, life would be grand. And we wouldn't have to do these. But now, Whitley, okay, so you said you're talking about like in certain cultures. Okay, put yourself in the culture you live in. Right here in the United States of America. Right here, where our men are physically built differently. And then tell me if you as a woman who, I don't know, you're like pro-trans, which is cool, but like I'm bordering on like you hate biological gendered people. And so it's like this cross between, you're on like this thin border between you don't really rock with people, and I think maybe somebody hurt you, but
Somebody hurt me.
I'm sorry that somebody in the biological world hurt you enough to think that you can be a feminist for trans women, but you belittle biological women by continuing to throw cis around and negate their
not
feelings.
every biological woman feels the way that you feel.
You
No,
have
y'all can
monologued
take me
long
down
enough,
now.
so
Personally,
it is my
I
turn
don't
to
care, but I'm
monologue.
just saying
Hush, please.
this is an echo
So
chamber.
you are not
full
going to
of
come in and
literally
monologue your way around
the most
and be feminist
bigoted
for
nonsense I've
trans
heard.
women.
Queen,
While
can we
you
please
Y'all are
forgive her? She
clowns. You can
continues
put
to
me down.
use
Y'all are
the terms that
clowns.
you said not to
You're clowns.
use.
I'm being
While
real now.
you
You're clowns.
negate
You're bigots. You're
biological women.
transphobes. It's real. Sorry.
So
Really?
See, now we're
So I'm sure that I'm sure she's still in the chat. So I'm going to continue to say, You cannot be pro-trans and while you're a hateful woman and feelings while you're telling her that she's transphobic for belittling a trans woman's feelings while she's doing the exact same thing. She, as a woman, has mastered this gaslighting trait that was bordering on narcissism, and I'm not so sure that she wouldn't. So you should probably speak to somebody about that.
So, Alexis, what do you identify as?
So I am a transgender woman. My pronouns are she, her, but if people don't want to use my pronouns, I tell them to just use my name, Alexis. But I just want to say that I don't feel like anything was said transphobic here. I've been in this live for probably the past hour or so, and I haven't been offended. I mean, there are a few comments that are out of like pocket, but other than that, the discussion here has been pretty respectful.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you. So, really quick, we are literally just saying, like, are trans women not respecting women's boundaries by calling them cis women instead of women? How do you feel about that?
I do understand that. I do refer to women as biological women when they're not transgender. I refer to myself as a transgender woman. I always will. Even after I get gender affirming surgeries, I will still refer to gender woman. Just because I feel like when I meet a guy, it is his right to know that I'm a trans woman. Because I don't want him to have any identity crises when he finds out that I'm trans. So he has the right to know up front.
Yes,
I
girl,
also
thank you.
feel that trans women should not feel they're feminine and passable enough, because I do understand the shock and the kind of being a little nervous that there's somebody who looks like a man in female spaces. So I do understand that as well. I didn't start using female spaces until people started referring to me as a woman without me having to prompt them. I do tell them though that I'm trans, because that's not something I'm ashamed of. I really do love being transgender. It taught me a lot of self-love. But yeah, I just want to say that I understand where you guys are coming from, and I understand also trans women who are in that stage where they want to push back at that too, because they want to say it's transphobic, but it's not. It's just we were born men, so we're technically men. So I understand that. If other people feel then that if they feel different, then we all have opinions.
I would say that we were born male, not men. Men as an adult. You can either say like boy or male.
Alexis, can I ask an honest question? So I feel like, but maybe you can help me clarify. Like I feel like so a trans woman means that you were born a little boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at some point you said, as a little boy, I identify as a little girl, or maybe it was older and as a teenage boy, whenever it was, you at some point went from identifying as a boy to a little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so where I'm feeling like the oxymoron is you said becoming a trans woman has taught you the art of self-love, but wouldn't self-love had just been learning to love who you were as a boy and just accepting that? Instead,
No, I couldn't love myself as a
something.
boy. I tried killing myself, so.
Oh, no, say unalive, Alexis.
Unalive. I tried unaliving myself, but that's why I decided to transition, because I knew I wasn't ever going to be happy with myself as a male.
And I'm sorry, you can tell me like, no, absolutely, I'm not answering that question, and that's cool. I won't push. But like, as a little boy, did you have something like traumatic happen?
No.
Oh.
Why do you want to make that argument, Shannon?
I was sexually assaulted by another little boy, though. I will say that.
Who said
I'm
that,
sorry.
Sage?
I'm sorry. You
Because
said
Sage, at this point of contention, Sage, there's a lot of people in the trans community who have had some sort of childhood trauma or PTSD from being a child.
yes. But
Yes,
Nikki,
that's
I will
correct.
say Sage and I go way back from today. So Sage and I just have a deep-rooted, different type of relationship going on. So that's why Sage
Okay.
want to ask
Well,
like
me and
that.
Sage
We know
don't
each
agree
other
on
so
everything, but
well.
I know Sage pretty well. But I wanted to ask Alexis a question.
Yeah, we.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask why do you in your bio it says that you identify as a trans female? I would say that a trans female does not exist because we can't identify as the opposite sex.
I do understand that. Yeah, I probably could correct that.
I think she might be referring to the fact that she's transsexual.
No, me being transsexual still doesn't make me a female, Sage.
Well, it might just be the label that she feels is most appropriate, but if you feel like that maybe she should change her optics, that's definitely a conversation that we can have.
Yeah, I think the optics of, I mean, if we're going to use correct definitions and stuff or correct wordage, especially since Lexus, do you believe that there's a difference between sex and gender?
I do.
Okay, so since you know that there's difference between sex and gender, and you know sex is inherently biological, and you were born, I'm going to assume, a male, how can you be a trans female?
I could have been born intersex. I'm not entirely sure. I am going to figure that out.
Well, even if you were born intersex, you're still genetically one or the other, right?
Intersex? Not necessarily. I mean, without
Intersex is not a
ambiguous genitalia, yeah.
No. Intersex still genetically and chromosomally, you're still going to be on one side or the other, or neither. But that doesn't make intersex another sex. I mean, that also like you're now using the exception to the rule. You would say that the rule is that males have penises and females have vaginas. So when you say that the intersection, I just don't like how we're trying to change the exceptions to the rules. You know, like I wouldn't say that women have the capacity to give birth. I would say that females have the capacity to give birth. You know, because we know that there's trans men who can give birth because they are females, and females have the capacity to give birth. So I'm just saying, if we're going to use this language correctly, and we're going to use words correctly, especially us in the trans community, that we have to use these words correctly. And you inherently saying that you're a trans female is false, because we can never change our chromosomes or DNA or bone structures and stuff like that. So, you know, plus we're still have like essentially larger lungs, larger heart capacity and stuff like that. So like if you're going to use a biological term of like identifying as a trans female, I would just say that you're inherently wrong. And I mean, if we're going to use language, because that's what it all comes down to, is language. If we're going to use it correctly, then we should use it correctly so that way everybody's on the same page.
I understand where you're coming from, and I do respect that. I guess I didn't have that perspective.
You are a queen. I appreciate you, girl.
Period. Now,
You too, Alexis, in your own way.
Something to say.
Wait, what?
I know you got something to say.
No, I don't have anything to say.
You sure?
Yeah.
You know you like to ruffle the girl feathers.
Hey, so far, you know, I haven't, you know, everything's all good.
Okay, so you can't agree that this live is not being transphobic, correct?
This live it's interesting people with interesting perspectives.
Okay, I'll take that. Anyway, so
Hey.
let's go ahead and keep it going, because as long as y'all not calling me transphobic, I don't give a fuck. Y'all not gonna get me careful. But listen, so what we're doing is, like I said, we're going ring around the damn rosy. I am bringing people up. I am putting people down. Please do not be like, oh, you ain't bring me up, whatever. I'm bringing people up. It's just a lot of people got a lot of stuff to say. Like, a lot of people have a lot of things that they want to go ahead and say. So Let's go ahead and keep it rolling. What was I gonna say? Aubrey, go ahead and make sure you handle the chat for me for the people that's being disrespectful. I can't really see back and forth. So wait, who's joining right now? Is that my connection or is that hers? Is somebody joining? Or I'm tripping? I don't know. So let's go ahead and see here. So Maceo, somebody had a question for you earlier. I'm not sure if you was able to see it. You can scroll up in the chat. So they want to know, since this is a topic about trans women being disrespectful to biological women, they feel like, why are you even talking about it?
Oh, that was for me?
Yeah, that's what the people in the chat said. I was like, oh, he didn't see that question, but I
Oh,
did.
because I see a lot of disrespect towards black women in particular from some, not all, people in the trans community. And you already know I don't, subscribe to disrespect to black women.
Did you know
So
that
when
there? Did you, sir? Did you know that black
Ken,
trans
it
women
said
exist?
that you were joining and then it wasn't. I don't know what happened. I'm about to bring you back up. Go
Did you
ahead.
know
What
that?
happened?
Did you know that? Did you know that black trans women exist?
No, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. Like, okay. But yeah, and what's interesting is it was those
Well,
very
it
people
just
that were.
seemed like your stance kind of ignores that.
How does my stance ignore that? I said trans community. That would encompass black, white, Asian, Arab, Indian,
Okay,
all of them,
but
right?
trans women would also encompass black women.
Yeah, so how am I alienating them? I don't
Sage,
understand that.
what?
So what's the point of accusing trans women of putting down the black community? That's not at all what we're doing.
Who said
Like
you were doing it?
Well, I promise you, every single trans person I know went to a BLM protest.
Okay, so if I'm not talking about them, then what's the issue?
I
Well,
would say
Are you a
that
bank robber?
you're putting a label and a generalization over an entire community. Are you not?
So if people in the trans community do something and I say that, how is that alienating anybody?
It's a if you can call out an individual in the trans community, but to call out the entire community for what it
Did anybody hear me
is
say
unfair.
some? Did anybody hear me preface my criticism with some people?
Okay, I can also say that some people in the you can say that there are outliers
No,
in
just
every
go and say what
community
you
who
were going to
have
say.
radical beliefs. There's outliers in every community who have radical
Yeah, and
beliefs.
I clearly identified them as outliers by saying some,
Okay, so what's the point of bringing up trans people?
because they're the ones that
Sage,
were
can you
attacking
land
black
the
women.
plane,
That's why.
Sage? Land the plane, Sage.
I mean, if you would like to take the floor, Nikki, I'm fine with that.
No,
So
it's because
now
I
that
heard
they're
what he
mad, they want me
said.
to land. So
If
anyway,
you
I'll just finish.
if you're
So
feeling a little
I
impatient,
saw I saw a lot of black women attacked by saying they weren't really women, they don't deserve their uteruses, black men don't even love you anymore, they want trans women, blah 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 blah, and I had an issue with it. And like I said earlier, it's not all, it's some.
I could also say that some cis people want trans people to be exterminated.
And you're absolutely right. I'm not going to disagree with that. So what's your
Okay,
point?
so
So
what's your point?
how come I can agree with that, but you can't agree with what I said?
I mean, I'm sure that there are some, but like, what's the point of talking about the trans community as a whole?
If I say some, how? Never mind. People clearly don't know what words mean. If
Well,
I say
right, but you're
some,
up
I'm
here on
not
this
talking about
platform.
the entire
You're up
community.
here on this platform trying to
If I
Because
push
wanted to
Sage,
talk,
if he said,
Are you not trying to push a narrative
if I
that
wanted to
the
talk
trans
about the
community is
entire
trying to put down
community,
black
if
women?
I wanted to talk about the entire community, I would just say all trans people this, this, and this. I didn't say
right,
that.
and Sage, if he said the trans community has disrespected black women, you would have said you can't say the community because I didn't. I've never disrespected, and that means not all. You would have split that hair. Don't be petty like that, Sage. Don't do petty tonight.
I mean, I just wanted to see his intentions of bringing it up. I mean,
I
go
mean,
ahead and
my
land your
intentions are
plane,
very
Mikhail.
clear.
Go ahead and land your plane.
I mean, people with common sense understood my point. You're the only one that has an issue.
Exactly.
I mean, you didn't finish any sort of point. What is your stance?
If you understand my point, could you please put a 1 in the chat? Because it's very clear.
I mean, you can literally get a fucking person to agree. You can get anybody to agree with you on anything. What's your stance?
If you didn't understand what I was saying, then you're just choosing to be obtuse.
Not being obtuse.
So tell me what I said then.
I think that maybe you were inferring to the fact that you want to say that trans women are trying to take away from black women's womanhood whenever that's just white supremacists pushing that rhetoric.
And you can be a white supremacist and trans, there's no delineation there. But my overall point is there are black women in particular that are attacked by some people in the trans community. So when I saw the title, Are Trans Women Not Respecting Women's Boundaries? I agree because I've seen it firsthand.
Okay, some black women
I'm answering the question and now you're talking over. So
okay, some black women are
I'm answering the
attacked by other
question and now
black
you're
women in the
talking
black
over.
community.
So what?
Some black women are attacked by other black women in the black community.
What relevance does that have to my point? Are there trans people
what
that are
relevance-
transphobic
what-
against
what-
other trans people? Yes.
I can say some people have been on the moon. What's the relevance to what's your point?
Now you see how he's invalidating my point and trying to defend black women by saying, "Oh, but black women attack black women."
What do you land your plane, my guy?
I don't have to follow your orders. This ain't your live, my guy.
Okay, my guy.
Oh. I mean, if you're upset, you could be upset, but I haven't said
I'm not
anything
upset.
remotely upsetting to anybody except you.
I mean,
So I'll finish with this. Regardless if you understand it or not is your issue. There are some people
okay.
in the trend. I don't need you to ad lib. You can cry about what I say afterwards.
I'll go on mute for you, baby.
There are some people, keyword SOME, in the trans community that have attacked black women by saying they aren't really women, they can take their men, they don't deserve their uteruses, they aren't really women, they're taking over. So I agree with the topic that some trans women do disrespect women's boundaries. If anybody doesn't understand that, I can't help them. There's professionals that can. Y'all have a good evening.
Okay, bye.
Reach that. That is amazing right there.
Okay.
So, Sage, go ahead and counter that. And Erica, I want you to go ahead. Erica slash Derek,
He's
sorry.
literally it's just an appealing to minority fallacy. I don't understand. I can say some people have thrown hot dogs at babies' faces. What's your point?
I'm a black
you're not
man, so
making
why
any
wouldn't
statements.
I'm a black man, so why wouldn't I advocate for black
What's
women?
your
That
statement?
doesn't make any sense.
What's your statement?
Oh, real quick. We just got
Just say what you want to say instead of
I
saying
said what I
scum.
wanted to say. You're the only person that don't understand.
I mean, you're just being disingenuous.
Let the host speak.
I
Hold
don't think
on.
y'all hearing me real quick. So Atlantic Brunette is here. The person that just think that I'm such a
That's my baby girl.
Yeah,
is she? Tell her to come on live. Tell her that.
the evil queen is Atlantic Brunette.
Oh girl, come on live. Where you at? Cause ma'am, oh ma'am. You just
Who's this person?
This is Atlantic Brunette. She is the one who creates satire lives, like, oh, trans women are better at being women than women, and then basically she provoked women to get on her live so she can have an excuse to do the shit that she do. But I've been so patient and waiting for you, Atlantic Brunette girl. I've been so patient, and everybody can testify that this has been a very, very peaceful live. I let the people speak, I let them talk, I let them get their shit off. But I need you to hop up on the live. You're going to air out your grievance about me again because I'm not interested. Girl, one thing about it, two things for sure, child. I'm going to go to sleep tonight with my man, and I ain't going to be thinking about you. What I want you to do is I want you to come on live and tell me and the people why you feel the way you do. You ain't got to like me. Just respect me.
She doesn't actually believe any of the things she says.
Oh, she don't?
Do you understand the point of satire?
Of course I do.
Okay, so yeah, it's satire. It's basically the point of the live was to point out performative allies within the left and the LGBTQ community who say that they aren't transphobic, but the moment that they're pushed in a certain direction, they say stuff like, oh, trans women aren't women. trans women are disgusting, trans women are
That's
abominations,
because
etc.
trans women aren't women, Sage, and you know
But trans
this.
women aren't abominations or disgusting or.
Wait, but Sage, how can y'all sit here and it's like I don't like the fact that y'all do that. Do not insult my motherfucking intelligence. How can you sit here and say
I'm not
that,
insulting your
oh,
intelligence.
no, real
That's my
quick.
question.
Just hear me out, because I've been keeping it cute this whole time that I've been on live. I've been on live since like 5 o'clock today. I'm saying, like, if you guys are just trying to see who's with you and who's against you, why provoke, then try to see who's your friend and who's not? Like, why say stuff like, oh, you're a chest feeder and you're not a better woman than me because you will only go down to your organs? Like, it's like, I can't expect you not to attack me if I attacked you first. It's just a reflex. Nobody know y'all. Nobody owe you anything. I don't like the fact that that's what y'all trying to do. When I am personally telling you, when I got on her live, regardless if that's how she felt or not, she attacked me immediately, and I was so nice. And I'm not a nice ass bitch. I will read you your motherfucking rights.
Would you not agree that there are millions of cis women who say the same thing about trans women? Millions more.
Okay, and I am not condoning them. I'm not saying that what they're doing is okay.
That's the point of the live, though. It's satire. Like, literally, Ruby was putting on an act. Kelly was putting on an act. It was all
y'all
an act.
was not. No.
They do not believe
Atlantic
those
Brunette,
things.
that's how
You're
she
being disingenuous
is,
if you think they
child.
actually believe those things. She does not believe those things.
Look at
Like,
what
have a
she's saying in the
conversation with her.
chat. Look at,
Have a genuine conversation with her without attacking her. Sit down and try to talk to her without
okay, Sage, real quick.
airing
You're
out your
telling
grievances.
me to talk to Atlantic
She doesn't actually
Brunette.
believe any of this stuff.
Okay, no. This is not what you're understanding.
Nikki
You said
knows
talk to her.
Sage, why are you protecting her?
Nikki, but you know Ruby. She doesn't actually believe any of this stuff.
Yeah, but why are you protecting her? Ruby can fend for yourself. I don't know why you have to fend for Ruby.
And right now,
I
what you saying
don't mind speaking up.
Ruby. It's
I
not
mean, if
helping
somebody's
her case
confused
at
about
all.
something that happened, I would like to enlighten them.
Well, okay, what you're saying is not helping because you're telling me not to attack her when she attacked me first. Regardless if it was satire, do you think Ruby took the time out to come to me and be like, Queen, it was satire. Queen, I didn't mean it. Queen, don't get offended. Queen, it was an experiment.
I mean, she told you it was satire.
No,
and
she
you
did
didn't listen
not.
to her.
No, she did not. No, she did not. I've been trying to read this girl her motherfucking rights since she knocked me off live those last couple of weeks. No, she does not. No, she did not. Please.
Did
She
you
did not.
actually
She
listen?
did not.
Did you listen to what she said, or was it while she was doing the satire live? Because if it was while she was
That's
doing
the
the satire
only
live, she
time
was
that
still doing her
I've
act.
ever experienced.
Okay, so do it when she's not doing the satire live,
How
and
am
you
I
understand her
supposed
actual
to know?
perspective.
I don't follow her. I don't follow
Okay,
her
so
to know
if you
when
see
she's doing the live or not.
a title that says trans women are better than women, it's satire, and everything they say is disingenuous to try and trigger cis people.
Just back off, Sage.
I know.
Please.
It's just educational. You know, I'm just letting her
No,
know.
it's not. It's not educational at all.
That's attacking someone.
No,
Nikki,
no,
why do you
'cause now-
have the need to defend the host?
Wait, because
What do you
I'm
mean?
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring people down because the only person that I really want to hear from is Atlantic Brunette. And it's just like, Atlantic Brunette, you love to piss me off and then try to claim as if I'm trying to attack you, whatever. Girl, I'm not trying to chit chat with you in the comments, babe.
I don't care. I honestly don't care if you have a beef with Atlantic.
Not you. I'm talking about Miss Fame, girl. Go ahead and get up on the live. I don't even care if it's just me and you on the live, baby. I kick everybody off the stage. Get on the live and stand on what you believe in. Like, she don't want to get on the live.
Bring it up here.
You won't get up here, Sage. Why?
Air out your other.
And that's cute. So if I was to dog her out, I would be wrong.
Or a therapist.
But no, if I was to dog her out for saying go air out your grievances to your mother. Because she from New York and I know exactly what that means. My father's from Brooklyn and he was just on this live earlier. So
You're
when
that
somebody be like, oh, whatever, yeah, I know exactly. She's not trying to keep it cute with me, babe. She's basically telling me that she don't give a fuck. So now in the same
She
breath of her
doesn't
telling me
care.
exactly. So why should I care if I air her out?
So
What
why
you
are you giving
saying?
her? Why are you giving her airtime?
I
If you don't
said, because
care, why are
I'm
you
going
giving her
to air her
airtime?
out. I said, no. I didn't say I didn't care. I said, why would I care if I air her out, is what I'm saying. If she don't care to come on this live and telling me to air out my grievances to my mother, so why would I care about airing her out and how she feel and what I say and what the fuck come out my motherfucking mouth? Why? Why would I care? You can't call me massage. You
You
can't
can
call me
literally say what you want.
transphobic. You
I'm
can't
not
call me.
going to.
No. I
I
can't say
haven't.
what I want because then I'm gonna get called transphobic,
No,
and I
you
don't like
can.
that.
I'm not going to call you transphobic.
You're not gonna call me transphobic, but Miss Thang girl over here, she got issues. She don't want to come up on here with me. You like it when people be on your playground, on your live, so you can talk shit to them and so you can do what the fuck you want to do, baby. This is not that. You done had the right plan, but the wrong bitch. And I'm gonna tell you that again, Miss Thang. Come up on the live. Okay, if you too scared, I get it. I wouldn't want to come up against a bitch like me either. But I'm saying, don't be in my comments. Keep it cute if you can't come up on this stage and stand on all 10 toes on what you said. You understand?
Right. If she
Okay.
can't come up here, then she's too chicken.
Yeah, well,
It's
Queen,
a
I'll
real
say
being a
this.
chicken. Come on. If you
So
She
don't
said
care,
in
why
the
if
you
we want to
chat she
air out
doesn't
some
care
why
about
would
your
you get up
grievances,
here?
grievances.
hey, Queen, if we want to air out some grievances, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say that, once again, words have meanings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ruby is not transsexual. There's no
What is
way in
she?
hell she's still a transgender woman.
She's
Mm-hmm.
transsexual.
No, she's not. She doesn't take HRT, and the only thing that she's had done is her boobs.
Oh,
She
well,
is
I
How the
hell, I
fuck
don't
100%
does
know.
that make
transsexual.
her a transsexual?
Why do you
Transsexual
care what they
is
No,
do?
literally, you literally just
no,
have, she has the
no, it's
desire to
not.
change primary and secondary sex characteristics.
Yeah.
That's just transgender.
I mean, we don't know why. I mean, I don't know if she's on HRT or
There's
not,
a
but
big difference between being a
You
transsexual
don't know what
and a
they're on though.
transgender.
I mean, I
They
wouldn't.
tell us.
What's the point? What's the point of invalidating her experience, Nikki?
I'm not
I mean,
invalidating
she's
her
100% a
experience.
Seems like it.
transsexual woman. You don't know if she's on
No,
HRT
not
or
at
not.
all.
Do you know if she's
Not
on
at all.
HRT?
She said that she's not.
Who told you that?
She did.
She directly told you that.
Oh yes.
Okay.
See, and this is what's pissing
You
me
still
off. Talking
don't know
about Nikki,
why.
I'm gonna
Even if
have
she
to
did tell
school
you that,
you
you still.
another
Even if
time.
she did tell you that.
Why?
Even if she did tell you that,
Why?
then why? Then like, how does
Because
that
I'm
not
going
make
to
her a transsexual?
invalidate
You
the
don't know her
experience because
reason.
there's
You
a
don't know the
difference
reason.
between being transsexual and transgender. And quite frankly, I hate that my community is being hijacked by all these people, including you, Sage. You are also hijacking the community, and that's like the difference that me and you don't see eye to eye on. I'm actually sick and tired of this shit.
I mean,
I just want to live my life.
I'm a
But
transsexual
you
woman.
got Sage.
I'm a transsexual woman.
I know that you are, but I'm invalidating Ruby as one because they're not
Hold on.
transsexual.
So Ruby, is you getting on the live, girl? Cause I kicked Sage for you, your advocate. Cause I don't want to hear Sage talk no more. No shade to you, Sage. I just feel like Ruby need to go on here and say what it is. Ruby, I feel like you only like talking shit in your spaces. I feel like when you in somebody else's space, because you feel like somebody gonna kick you or mute you or not give you the respect. As you can see, nobody's disrespecting anybody on this stage, beloved. I don't see why you being scary. Like, just come up on the live, girl. Cause if not, then Sage can come back up if Sage want to advocate for you. But we want you to come up on the live, Miss Mamas. You.
Yeah.
Why you not coming up? Why
Because
you?
I
Why
would say
you?
that 100% of transsexual women like me have gender dysphoria. You know? Because a lot of people in the transgender community say that they don't experience gender dysphoria. Okay, then you don't. And that's what makes you transgender. But when you're calling yourself a transsexual, which is the medical diagnosis of what we actually are, and you're saying that you're one, you're hijacking the community. And I don't think that and that's the problem that we're having nowadays, is that you got all these young people
Can you repeat the
hijacking the
portion about,
community.
Nikki, can you repeat the portion about, what was the phobia?
Gender dysphoria?
Yeah, what is gender dysphoria?
The incongruence between the brain and the body.